what are some of the proactive steps that regional businesses can take to successfully navigate some of these global trends in order to remain competitive?
Thank you very much for the question, Dion. My answer is located in the fact that we're emerging from a pandemic and that we are likely to have other black swan events. And so companies coming out of the pandemic, particularly in the entertainment sector, in the hospitality sector, in the services sector, would have faced enormous financial challenge. And therefore the first thing they have to do, and that we have to do, is we have to rebuild their balance sheets. We have to ensure that the loans which have been accumulated, that those loans can be serviced, balloon payments can be made, their retained earnings improved, and they could return to some sort of dividend flow. So building resilience in the business is job number one, coming out of the pandemic, before we try to do anything else. So that if another pandemic were to come along, or another difficulty, they can withstand it, the business can survive. Once you've got past that, I think we have to start taking a look at strategically how we pivot the business. And that is in terms of the strategic planning process, looking out for the period 2023 to 2025 or 2026 or 2027. Where do we see the opportunity? Where do we see the threats? Where can we enter geographically? What can we acquire? And so the strategic planning and the strategic realignment is important. The third thing is to have the courage to expand extra-regionally. Not within the region, but extra-regionally. So we need to start taking a look at distressed opportunities in the US, distressed opportunities in Central America. We have to start looking at locating plant in other jurisdictions to give us a competitive advantage, to give us a location advantage, to give us access to larger markets, to use treaties beneficially. Yes, we will get remittance income coming back. Yes, we will be scaling up in a way in which we could not scale up in Trinidad, and we will be de-risking the business and reducing vulnerabilities. So expanding the business geographically and jurisdictionally is important. The third thing that I would commend to business is, let's take a look at digitization. And how do we embrace digitization in our business? From a customer relationship standpoint, in terms of markets and market access and serving the customer, in terms of productivity and production, to drop our unit costs and to be far more productive, far more competitive, and far more efficient, and in terms of our marketing programs. Because digitization gives us the world at our doorstep with reduced costs and a real opportunity to compete on scale. So that would be my advice to business generally. That's what we at B&B advise our clients to do. We're working with many of them. We are very, very, very encouraged by what we see.
That is excellent news. One of the pain points that have been highlighted by academics and business persons is that seeming lack of a structured approach to research and innovation. You hold the title of Professor of Practice in Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine. Can you share your thoughts of the current role of innovation in the business world and how the region is or perhaps isn't competing in this area?
Innovation is the lifeblood of competitiveness. If we innovate well, we become more competitive. Innovation is the lifeblood of product development, to develop a new portfolio in terms of products and services. The University of the West Indies has recently improved its position globally as a university, and instead of being among the top 4% of global universities, is now among the top 3% of global universities. And I think we need to commend the university for that. The university has at least 1,000 patents of original discovery across many faculties: agriculture, engineering, social sciences, chemistry, etc. And what the university has done is that they have reformulated and re-engineered their innovation ecosystem. They have packaged that with the entrepreneurship unit, which can provide assistance in business planning, strategic planning, accounting support, financial support. We have STACY, which is the St. Augustine Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which could assist any innovator with a patents and patent protection, with registration of that and intellectual property, with grant funding and assistance in research and development. And then we have UE Ventures Limited, which takes those entities, and we have an accelerator app which allows people to come into the system, register their interests in a confidential manner, share with us the innovation or the entrepreneurial opportunity, and we work with you to scale it up. And UVL, UWI Ventures Limited, will find appropriate partners and marketplace opportunities for you to express it. So there is an opportunity now with the university ecosystem to be able to allow both students, the student population, the alumni population, and the population of Trinidad and Tobago and the region to have that opportunity to take entrepreneurship all the way through. And an important ask here is that where regulation is outdated, it needs to be overhauled. And I'll give one example. The Cooperatives Act was passed in, I think, 1971. That legislation is now 51 years old. The Cooperatives Act guides credit unions and frames the operations of credit unions. Credit unions can support business, the business owner. So a small business owner would go to the credit union, and we have credit unions that are $2 billion organizations.
Yes, we do.
$2 billion organizations.
Right here in Trinidad.
Right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And we need to take a look at the credit union legislation and modernize it. Because in the business owner who starts dealing with the credit union, when he gets to a certain point, and he has moved from business owner to small and medium-sized enterprise, the credit union cannot lend to him. And it constrains the credit union growth, but the partner who has helped him to get scale and to grow is suddenly the partner who can no longer help him, but he may not still be in a position to be as bankable as he'd like to be. So credit unions have to be able to consider, as banks do, organic and inorganic growth. Republic Bank grew by inorganically and organically. NCB Jamaica grew organically and inorganically. Guardian Holdings grew organically and inorganically. And we have to give credit unions the opportunity to partner locally, to partner with other credit unions to grow, of course within certain regulatory constraints and within regulatory oversight. So the ecosystem in terms of innovation needs some modification. We need to free up some of the impediments. I think the ministries are doing some good work, but it needs to be overhauled and accelerated. The legislative framework needs some improvements. The institutional support needs some modification, as well as the very point that you raised with me, that regional transportation. Because if I have product, I have to be able to put those containers and that product on ships and at a minimal cost move it through the Caribbean. Whether it's raw materials, whether it's finished goods, whether it's POS material, I have to be able to service that. So I'm seeing some good green shoots of growth. POIs, for example, in the fintech arena is an interesting one. There are others. This is a movement that we absolutely need to inspire, because the young graduate coming from UWI today, 15,000 of them per year, when I look around and the economies aren't creating enough jobs, I want to move them into innovation and entrepreneurship. They are fearless, they have courage, they are bold. So we have to create avenues where their courage, their innovative spirit, their challenging of the status quo could be expressed in innovation and entrepreneurship. And that, I think, will drive our economy and create more diversification and create more opportunity.
Yeah. So this is a wonderful segue into our next point of discussion. How have your students impacted the way that you view and think about leadership and innovation?
Gen Xers and Gen Ys coming into business today understand digitization intuitively. And understanding digitization, it means that we can drive the technology in terms of fintechs, we can drive digital solutions, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, in terms of creating that software ourselves. and a whole new cadre of software uniquely suited to our own circumstances, whether they be in financial services, whether they be in the credit union sector, whether they be in the insurance sector, and whether they be in the manufacturing sector. So I think that there's that opportunity. It's critical that in the case of the Gen X's and the Gen Y's that we harness that skill, we harness that knowledge, and we harness it for the purpose of new product development. What are some of the new products that they are seeing, and how could we do things differently? So I think that there is a big opportunity there in terms of the young people and how we approach things. UWI is still producing a very, very good quality of graduate. A graduate, if he goes to any of the major institutions, is able to hold his own, is able to think creatively, is able to think incisively, and has good insight. I think what's important is our ability as institutions and as older professionals to listen, to engage, to be able to accommodate their irreverence, to be able to accommodate their criticisms, to be able to accommodate at times their rudeness and their lack of knowledge. Because sometimes it is in the lack of knowledge and it is the challenging of existing protocols that new wisdom emerges. So for us as older professionals, we have to be good stewards. We have to give them running room to be able to drive change and to innovate. So I am very, very encouraged by the cohort of people that I see coming through the university. I think that is not to say that we do not need to fix aspects of the education system at the primary school level or at the secondary school level, because there's still huge chasms where we have to reach out to people and to help them in terms of remedial work and to help families and to help households. Because education is the passport, is one of the passports to success. And many people in my generation are where they are, coming from poverty, because of the access to education. So we need to make sure that the access is there, the support systems are there, especially for those who are vulnerable, and then perhaps wear that with a conservation core so that there's the discipline and there's the enablement to ensure that those who get to university or those who get to tertiary level or those who get to technical vocational training are able to utilize those skills for the benefit of the country, the benefit of their sectors, and the benefit of the region.
Mr. Brooks, thank you for chatting with us and sharing your insights. You have been very kind and generous, and there's a lot to learn from persons like you who have walked the walk and talked the talk, and you're here giving back. As you said in the beginning, there is a value system, there's an approach by continuous learning, and leaving the country, leaving the world really, in a better position than you met it. So it's been a privilege chatting with you. We want to thank you. We may call on you again, because I'm sure your insight would be of tremendous value in other spheres that we've not even touched on today.
Diane, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kindness, and I wish Carl every success in the future, you and your team.
Thank you. We appreciate it.